Good evening and welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting. It's May 14th. Everybody's here but Sam. Sam will not be here tonight. He's not feeling well. So Sam, we hope you feel better soon. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 9th?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion to approve the April 23rd minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? There's the line. All right, new business. All right, I'm going to walk over here. Mr. Murch, can you come up here? All right. This is Larry Murch.
How do you do?
He has been on the Board of Appeals, correct?
Yes.
For a long time. He
Since
can
1984.
1984, as he's volunteered his time. I found somebody that's done it longer than Rolf, I told him, because Rolf has been doing it after that. We wanted to say thank you for all your dedication, all your service and volunteering. And
They gave me a call. Well, I thank you very much.
it says Lawrence Larry Murch from the town of Raymond in appreciation of his more than 30 years of service as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Right. Thank you.
And that's not his only area of service. You've been on other committees, have you not?
No, I'll
No?
tell you when it started. Carlton Edwards called me up. That was when the legislature determined that we had to have boards. Before that, we had none. And Carlton Edwards, that ran the town at that time, with an iron fist, called me up one night and said, show up at the office tomorrow. Louise Lester will swear you in. So I went down, and I was sworn in by Louise Lester, and every 3 years she'd call me up on a Tuesday night and say, come down here tomorrow morning, you're gonna get sworn in for another third. And that is the way it happened.
And you kept saying yes.
Well, you could not refuse. Carlton Edwards, because Carlton Edwards ran this town. You don't realize how much he ran this town, and his two old maid school teacher sisters ran him, and they ran the town. That was the way it was run in those days.
How long was he here for?
Well, he lived up on the North Raymond Road where the gentleman put in that organic farm. That was his place there. And he was here, for forever, going back into the 30s.
Wow.
I believe
And
he
it
was the
just
first
would not-
selectman for over 40 years.
Carlton Edwards, yeah. And the town would not vote him out.
Well, we seriously thank you for all your service and all your time that you have put in
Well.
to these meetings and listening and stuff like that. So
Okay, well, I thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want me to help you with this?
They don't fall back.
All right. Okay, on to new business. Let's see. Age-friendly Raymond survey results, please. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Scott.
Good evening, Sheila Burke, 63 Hancock Road, and I would, before we get started, I'd just like to recognize that the majority of the Age-Friendly Steering Committee is here tonight, and I'd like to introduce them. We have Ginger Wallace sitting right here. Ginger, throw your cane around. Say hi. Thank you very much. We have Lori Wallace over there on the end. Her husband Bob is with her. He gets to come to all our meetings whether he chooses to or not. We have Reverend Nancy Ferrand from the Raymond Village Community Church, and Susan Moore, also Raymond resident. So I'd like to introduce tonight for the presentation of our assessment survey, Professor John Keneally. I'm so bad. Jonathan Pinero, a student. He just graduated last week from St. Joe's. Well, take it away. Shows your PowerPoint right there.
Thank you. I just wanted to introduce Jonathan and have him, say what he will, and I'll put in my own 2 cents from time to time along the way. But I just wanted to say that Jonathan is one of our best and brightest at St. Joseph's College. We had an outstanding class in our marketing research class, and Jonathan's an example of the quality of person who's in it. We were very happy to have the age-friendly group here in Raymond ask us to take a look at their survey and analyze their results, and I'll turn it over to Jonathan and step in from time to time just to serve as the color man.
Thanks for the introduction. Appreciate it. Glad to be here and share our results. So basically, we took a look at these surveys and analyzed the 8 domains of livability based on buildings, outdoor spaces, transportation, housing, social inclusion, respect and social inclusion, civic participation and employment, communication and information, community and health services, all related to this age-friendly community we're trying to build. So there are 4 sections of the survey: demographics, level of agreement with statements, importance of specific issues, availability in Raymond, comparing to all those 8 domains I just touched on, and then open-ended responses as well, generating some qualitative feedback along with the quantitative results we gathered from this survey. The major themes of the open-ended responses were based on availability, accessibility, and affordability, just gathering what these folks felt about different questions and how they related to transportation or social inclusion or availability and accessibility to any of those features.
And one of the nice things about the survey and the results of the survey is the group, the age-friendly group, really put together a good survey that covered a wide array of things, and one of the nice things is we got to look at the quantitative, the numbers stuff, and also the qualitative stuff, where people were given the opportunity to say what they will and write whatever came to mind about livability in Raymond, and the two complemented each other very well. One of the students in our class, Javi Martinez, created the word cloud that's on this PowerPoint, and one of the things that happened is, or that's part of this, is that the size of the words are relative to the number of times that they were used by people in these open-ended responses, and you can see the needs and community and the importance of the town of Raymond, and also the support that people were in need of as part of the whole thing. So it was a very interesting exercise, and it was nice that the qualitative backed what the quantitative said.
Absolutely.
Can I interrupt, please?
Sure.
Am I to assume that this group designed the questions and not your staff?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So looking at our sample sizes here, basically for the population over age 20, we had 292 samples. So we achieved a ratio of 90% confidence, which assured us that this exact demographic was a valid sample. For the other 2 categories, people under age 65 and people over age 65, this is where we saw the sample sizes not being quite enough. So we gathered the information that we just encourage more samples to be taken going forward, and this is okay as well.
Yeah, one of the things that, the two things, first of all, in the overall population, the sample size of 292 was well above what we needed to be 90% confident. So what that says is this, if this survey were repeated 10 times, we're confident that it would happen. We would get the same results from people on 9 out of 10 times. What we did was we took the essentially 4,500 people in Raymond, eliminated anybody below the age of 20, and so our estimate was that there were roughly 3,600 people above the age of 20, and so that's 7.8, almost 8% of your overall population that we were looking at in the survey. And then since this survey, even though livability is about livability for all ages, when we talk about livability, one of the most important, most critical populations is the aging population. And so when we see the number of people over age 65, we estimated that there were 846, give or take, people above the age of 65 here in Raymond. And of that, 142 people participated in the survey, and that's about 18%. Roughly 17–18%. So we got a really good sample size, especially in that population.
So looking at our SWOT analysis, this just breaks down our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats going forward. So our strengths being buildings and outdoor spaces. Also domain 3, which was housing being sufficient and support is needed. Our weaknesses were transportation, especially in this aging community. Obviously we need more transportation available. So that's one thing we looked at as a weakness, and how we could potentially go forward and focus on that within the community. Also the impact on other domains because of the transportation. So because of the lack of transportation, you're also going to see ripple effects in the community.
The idea is transportation is such a key to so many of the 8 domains, because without transportation to a health and wellness appointment, you can't have that piece in place. And so it's really critical for people to be able to age in place, to be able to stay in their homes in the long run. And so it's certainly a critical issue going forward. In terms of the strengths, the buildings and outdoor spaces, were beautiful, beautiful Raymond on the lake, and the outdoor spaces are very good as long as there's access to them. And then buildings, the library was particularly noted both in the open-ended as well as in the survey part. Those 2 domains, the buildings and outdoor spaces and the housing domains, were the greatest strengths, and then transportation seems to be the largest of the needs. There were a couple of other needs that bubbled up a little bit. One was around communication and getting access to the information. It seems that there are resources out there, and there's a need for being able to find where those resources are, and so that was something that can also impact some of the other areas. I'll turn it back over to JP for opportunities and threats.
So for the opportunities, we're looking at leveraging our strengths always. So we have all this good space, just use it as much as possible. We have the library, lake access, and also the proximity to St. Joseph's College. St. Joe's is a great community. Even though we're in Standish, not Raymond, we're right around the corner. We're so close. And then creative ways to overcome weaknesses. So improving communication as well as transportation in these areas that we struggle a little bit based on the survey results. Just figuring out ways to maybe provide shuttle services or carpool more, or overcome any sort of weakness we might have seen. And then for the threats,
Before you hit
yeah, go
threats, I just wanted to mention, JP mentioned St. Joseph's College, and one of the things that we have just in its very early stages is something we're very excited about. JP is part of our Mission Aligned Business group right now. He's working with them, and one of the programs that we're just in the very early stages is something called the Center for Integrative Aging at St. Joseph's College, and you know, there are a number of things. The first thing that's already started is something called Silver Sneakers, aimed at, you know, getting out and being active and wellness and fitness among older people. And we also have things related to food going forward, and then other community sorts of things going forward. So it's a very exciting time, and it wasn't just us being self-serving, talking about St. Joseph's College, but it's really a central initiative to what we're trying to be and how we're trying to you know, connect more fully with the community. The timing of Sheila and the Age Friendly group reaching out to us couldn't have been better from that perspective. So we're looking forward to, you know, providing some support, including there's something related to the transportation that may benefit also.
yes, so this whole community we're aimed at building at St. Joe's is just really on the forefront. So there's like transportation and shuttle service could be in the near future, as well as farm to table meals. Building this community so when you go for a workout class for an hour, you're comfortable hanging out with this community for 3 hours and going and grab a bite to eat down the road, or going and grab a bite to eat at our Pearson's Cafe. It's all pretty brand new, but we're very excited about it, and the timing, like you said, is just impeccable.
We're very happy to have this opportunity because, you know, our students learn from older people, and older people can learn from our students as well. You know, one of the things that we saw in the study was that people in Raymond, older people in Raymond, have access to the internet, but have some technology issues, and so that might be an opportunity, you know, for us, you know, as a learning organization to connect those two things, you know, where our Generation Z are so wired and so knowledgeable on the technology side and can help our seniors in that area as well.
Absolutely, and just building that relationship so you're comfortable reaching out on both ways. I think that's super important and gonna be huge going forward. So I'm excited about that. And then to touch on the threats quickly, just not addressing the weaknesses, which I'm sure is something I'm not too concerned about, as these different things are coming up and grow and are ready to grow. I'm excited to address the weaknesses and really tackle them. And then not leveraging the strengths, just kind of a little support enables aging in place more fully. That makes, yeah.
One of the things we really saw in the results of the survey, I didn't want to drill too deeply in it, but one of the things that we saw in the survey was in terms of housing, for example. Their housing is sufficient, but seniors need people to come in and do some, you know, some maintenance types of things, some repair types of things. And so a little support would go a long way in enabling people to age in place. And that's what that last bullet means. A little support goes a long way, because it can make a big difference in you know, people who are aging being able to thrive, being able to live you know, fully. So that's pretty much it.
Can I ask you a question on what you're doing at St. Joe's? So you're saying right now that this is just in the early stages of, you know, the Center for Integrated Aging and stuff like that. Are you just doing it because you're in Standish? Are you reaching out to all the communities around? Is it open to?
All the surrounding communities as well. Pretty much anyone from Maine is more than welcome, to be honest. If they want to come out for there's several things rolling out. So you have this Silver Sneakers, which are these workout classes. Those have been running for about a month now, maybe 2 months now. Okay, and then also we're gonna have lunches scheduled all summer long. I think they're on Wednesdays. Those you can log on and sign up for, as well as just kind of, so those are the two main ones right now, but then going forward we're looking at transportation and how can we how can we create this subscribe list so we can get a solid carpool system going, so we can take a shuttle over from St. Joe's and pick up a whole group of people that want to come over for a lunch. So it is early stages still, and there's plenty more to come with it, but it's exciting.
We're very excited.
It is exciting. I mean, is this something that you guys have like information that you could like put some stuff in like our town office for people that are looking, or on the website to, you know, further educate people on it?
We'll be happy to share that information.
Absolutely. I believe it all rolls out officially on the website tomorrow.
Oh,
which-
so it's really timing together, yeah.
There's a little bit there right there.
Yeah, there's a little bit there, but
If you go to St. Joe's, they do have their own page now, but I'm sure it's gonna fill up with stuff.
I think tomorrow it'll be more.
The full rollout.
The full
So it
rollout.
really is in the infancy, in
Yes.
the early stage.
It sounds like it's exciting.
We're very excited for it and happy to bring in people from Raymond. As JP and I were saying on the way in, you know, really, you know, we're closer to the center of Raymond than we are to the center of Standish, even though
Yeah.
we're in Standish. So, you know, we love to serve people in Raymond, people in Wyndham, people in Standish, people in the whole area, you know, whatever.
The whole Sebago Lake region area, and then extend out from there.
But we've got first in line.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You guys have questions?
Are we finished here?
Yes, yeah, that's the end of the presentation.
Then I do have questions.
Right.
You can
I'll
go
speak
first.
I get, so going forward from here, what's the association now between you guys and the Age Friendly? I mean, is it?
Their job is done. What happens next is we get the final report, and we're gonna be sharing that with you. We're just cleaning up some typos and punctuation. And you'll get much more detail on everything you heard tonight. For example, one of the things they didn't talk about is one of the highlights of the report is almost every person who responded said they feel Raymond is a safe place to live, way over high. So there's a lot of other stuff in there. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this final report, and our steering committee will meet, and then we go to the next phase, which is developing action plans. What is accessible and reasonable for us to address in some of these higher level areas? I think you heard a few ideas coming from St. Joe's in terms of the transportation area. We've thought about, just because people say transportation, well, what the heck does that mean? We need to figure that out. Is it the bus? Is it a shuttle? Is it a carpool? We don't know. So we thought maybe some community listening sessions where we ask people to come and talk a little bit more about what they mean by that. So we'll be working on some of these action plans. We intend to share all that information with the select board as we go along. There are other things in there, like maybe somebody said, we want a community center. Well, that's way out of our wheelhouse. We're not gonna even touch that, but there are many things like in-home help, in terms of home repairs. There's initiatives going on that Age Friendly is working with other groups that might be able to provide those services. So next up for us is to figure out the details, how we're gonna go about that, and get volunteers' support to go about that. And then we'd be coming back to the town with any, this is what we think we want to do. Do you guys have any input type stuff? So, I shared with Teresa early today the this entire process. So we're still way back in the planning stage. And we have a ways to go before we get to doing anything definitive, if that makes sense. But for example, John and I were talking, maybe some of his kids would like to sit in and help us with the listening sessions. We don't know yet. So that's all kind of still out there, if that helps. But any questions on the survey? I know it was very high level, so we didn't want to get down to all of, they have great formulas and things that I don't even understand.
I have a questions on the survey.
I can't remember, what was the timing that the survey went out?
It went out and was finished by last Labor Day.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So that's, I mean, the only, so,
It went out and was finished by last Labor Day.
because you referenced the 90% confidence level, but you're basing that on a 3,600 population. but you took the survey during the summer months, which is when our population is actually up in the 8 to 12,000 range. So is your confidence level sustained based on that kind of response versus
That's a good
the
question.
full-time residents of 3,600?
The number of the number of part-time residents or summer residents was very low in terms of the number of
We
people.
have that data of who answered.
There was a very, I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it was a very small number.
So that was a question in the survey?
It
Yeah.
was, yes, it was addressed in the initial demographics.
Yeah, do you live here full-time, part-time, vacationing, you know, to be sure we knew who we were talking to.
Okay.
Yep.
How many other surveys have you done similar to this?
I've done a couple of other projects related to age-friendly sorts of things, separately, not as part of St. Joseph's College, but I've been in marketing and have done things related to market research for 15 or 20 years.
Are these results consistent with those past?
Yes. I mean, they're consistent in terms of. I think one of the great things that's coming down is AARP putting forth the livability 8 domains. I think that's a really big and important step, and a relatively new step that I think is starting to shape it, and this group is, you know, in the early stages of that initiative. You know, it's a relatively new area, but AARP has done a number of grants in Maine and throughout the country around this initiative. So
The other thing, if you're interested, is we can provide you a link to, there's been like 50 towns in Maine that have done surveys and their results. And again, it really depends on your town, what your end results would be.
I'm okay with that, but I'm asking this gentleman on this survey.
right.
What is his experience is what I'm getting.
Right. I think some of the results are very specific to Raymond, such as the transportation issue, you know, may not be the case in, say, Saco or Portland. And I think there are some things, there are some commonalities in terms of the things that enable people to age in place, related to being able to, you know, get somebody in to do some work on their homes, to get home health support, you know, those little areas of need, of support that people need to be able to live it's as independently as possible, staying in their homes as long as possible.
Do you feel that the people that contract for the survey and design the questions can skew the questions?
I think there's a potential for that, yes. We looked at the survey from that, and we didn't find any bias in that area. One area that we did, the questions, we didn't see bias in the questions. We did see, we did hope that if this were replicated at some point down the line, that it would be, there was a very large percentage of the group that were in the 50 and above range, and a relatively small percent that was below the age of 50. One of the things that we talked about, and I think Sheila talked about with us as well, was instead of discussing it in the frame of age-friendly, because people think, oh, that's just for old people, to put it in terms of livability, I think is a way of making it, and really livability really is for all ages. You know, the 8 domains are relevant to all of us, whether we're JP's age or my age.
Well, you bring that up, and that's something that I questioned a couple of times as far as the age-friendly, because we have, the aging group, and then we have all these new families that are coming in that are looking for things to do and find things to do, and that we're trying to give them some history on Raymond. So it's kind of like finding a mix and a meeting for everybody is what it is, yeah. So, it's when I was watching the 20 and above, so.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions? Yes, sir? We thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much, and
And
I'd
you,
like to
and you
say-
said you just graduated, right?
Yes.
So you're gonna stay at St. Joe's and?
Yes, I will be here for at least the summer and hopefully past
There's a
that.
bus driver right there.
Absolutely.
There you go.
And I'd just like to thank Age-Friendly Raymond and the town of Raymond for the opportunity for our students. It's not often that students get that ability to really do that sort of hands-on research, and so we thank you, and we thank you for that. It was amazing and a wonderful experience for our students, so thank you.
Well, thank you for that, and we're looking forward to the final.
Perfect.
Great.
Good, cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sheila, before you leave,
Thank you.
Drive safe. Thank you, guys.
thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'm disappointed that this came to this board the way it did. It's supposed to go to the e-packets on Friday, and it goes to the e-packets for two reasons. One, so that we can see it, and two, so that the public has a chance to see it. And you may have more people here when they see that. Next time, it goes to the e-packet or it doesn't come in here.
I would suggest that the Select Board make that clear in your request when you request a place on the
She
agenda.
would.
I submitted this request over 3 weeks ago. I
What was your
received a
interest,
call
right?
late last week about the e-packet, indicated I had nothing and was never told it was a problem until this afternoon.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with age friendly. I'm just saying, I will abide by that in any future presentations in front of this board.
Thank
But
you.
it's the first time that rule has been held up to me.
To you.
Well,
Since the entire time I've been here.
and I'm only gonna say, because we've gotten calls, we've gotten letters, what happens is people that are watching this at home cannot
Right.
follow
You're not
this.
gonna be
They
able
don't have a fair
to read
opportunity.
a 20-page report, you guys.
So,
And I
well, stop,
apologize.
please. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, this is what we've done before. It's, we always have to have the information in. I know when Mike Reynolds was chair before me, nothing would come in.
Put a simple
Sheila,
sentence in your
please.
form.
All I'm saying, that's why I asked for the information today, and I did not want to stop them from seeing, because I do want to see the report. I am
Right.
anxious to see the report. I'm anxious to move on with the age-friendly thing, so we can keep it moving, to be quite honest, you know what I mean? So that's why we just said today. And then we just know, for anybody that gets a call that says, where was this information earlier? Because we will get a call or phone, say, why wasn't this in the packet? But I hear what you're saying. I did. I hear you on that one. So anything, if we can get it in a week before, when you fill out your forms or anything like that, but that's something, okay?
We had known.
Okay, nope, I didn't see it, that's why I was worried that people were gonna see it, but, he looks excited that they both did
If he can
this,
come up with
yeah.
some solutions that are meaningful,
The
sure.
Institute literally had a kickoff breakfast last week, just a week.
Oh, seriously? So it is brand new. He was very anxious and very eager to talk about it, which was cool, yes.
Very cool.
All right.
Yeah.
moving
Always
on.
good to see that.
It was,
Always
he's
good to see
very,
excitement.
especially in the field that he's in too, so,
Yes.
cool.
Thank you all
All
very
right,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, let's see. Health insurance, representation discussion by Rolf Olson. I didn't,
I think Kathy's going to introduce that one.
Uh-oh, you get to pick on Kathy now.
Okay, basically what we were asking, our health insurance agent has been Cross for pre-me. And what we'd like to do is change our agent to Rolf. And there's a couple of reasons. One is that he's local.
Who, that Rolf?
That Rolf.
that one I'm not touching. Is that Rolf?
We don't really, I mean, you guys have to work out what you think, but what I'm looking at is somebody that's gonna be responsive when I ask questions. The fact that,
He's what I call him.
we let selectmen
Yeah.
work on stuff because we know they care. I haven't found Cross to be extremely responsive to things that I want to do. One of the things that I've been trying to do for the last 3 years is change it. I want the HRA and the policy to match up. And we haven't been able, and my request has just gotten ignored, which is,
They want to do what they want to do and not what.
well, they don't want to
Who
do
do
it.
you use at Cross? Who does you, like your agent?
Lisa
or-
Butcher. What we do is, so we end up doing this in May and June, which for the town is not a great time because we've got budget, we've got year end, we've got a lot of paperwork that has to be completed. So I wanted to change it to, and I understand because the calendar year is your busy season. But I really want to make that change and I've gotten nowhere with it. Rolf can provide the access to all the policies that we would have access to through Clark, and we're just gonna get better service. That's my bottom line.
No, go ahead.
I think having somebody available for the employees is also important there. As we've gone down this privatization, journey, and we have discovered that, and it may well have been the same if we'd been with a public sector insurer. The whole world has got more complex, and it's a more difficult equation sometimes for folks to solve with particular questions about coverages and concerns. And so, our theory is we think that having somebody local and available and willing to meet with individual employees on an ongoing basis as necessary, along with an annual orientation meeting, would be good and advantageous for the town. And Rolf has agreed to do that.
I mean, there's, anyone can arrange for a policy.
Well, you have to have a license.
Not
But
me.
you need to have someone that's willing to, take the time and talk to people.
But we want
If
someone
there's-
that's willing to analyze all the possibilities for us too.
You have the time for that?
But make them
That's what I do.
understand policies too.
No, I know
You know what
that.
I mean? Instead of just selling you and saying, look, this one's best for you, without you saying, I don't understand it, nothing,
The last time I
And of
just
course-
said no. I said, I want to go in this direction. I'm tired of this direction. And it was just
But, I
like,
mean, it makes sense to, and I've talked with the carriers, that, we can change this, essentially what would, you'd have a policy, then you'd recontract it for a January 1 start date.
Right.
But then it's running in concert with the deductibles and things anyway.
and with the
so
HRA, and it just makes it easier.
I think Rolf, because of his knowledge of the town, our needs, our employees, and our objectives, I think has a unique perspective to help us to achieve something that would be the highest possible quality within our budget while we're innovating in this, private sector health insurance model. And I think that's, highly doable, possible, and probable with Rolf, because Rolf's an analytical guy who will come up with good solutions and will work within our framework. That's not to say, however, that I'm going to agree with him 100%. One of your things you've already brought up, I think I'm not agreeing with. But he gave us a new possibility that we hadn't seen.
No,
So there you
it's
go.
okay. You gotta see too.
I think I'm okay with it, as long as you don't see a conflict.
Well, he's,
He has to.
Obviously, I can't vote on it.
exactly, I don't want, and I want us to do a motion on it, the three of us.
Right.
So we're gonna ignore Rolf here for a second.
But I
What
think-
normally
I think
has to
you continue
happen
asking
is that
questions.
Yeah.
he would disclose his
Shut up
conflict.
so you can ask questions.
What normally happens is a selectman interested in, seeking town work would disclose the conflict and obviously not vote, but seek the consent of the board to provide the service or contractual arrangement that they were seeking. In the past, we've had other selectmen who have performed services in professional areas. We have one who does now, and does very well. But that's the process, disclose the conflict and make sure that there's consent of the board members to take on the work.
Well, we were gonna have a vote over here and talk, but he said he has more questions, so I'm gonna let.
I don't know,
Oh,
I'm done.
you're done?
I got my question.
All right, so now we're
As
gonna.
as long as you don't think there's a conflict, I realize you can't vote on the budget
Right,
process.
I can't, because, the conflict is, obviously, if I'm the broker record,
Right.
then I do get commission.
Right.
But you would only be recusing yourself regarding the insurance
Right.
part of it. Okay. Can I have a motion?
Sure, I move that we appoint Rolf Olson as the insurance agent for the town of Raymond
For health insurance,
For health
for
insurance.
health insurance.
Would broker of record be there?
Broker record.
broker of record.
Broker of record.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor? And he is,
Abstain.
Officially
Yes.
a broker. Okay.
all right, Rolf, thank you very much for stepping up
Yes,
for that.
thank you, yep. That's a good
Definitely.
move.
You're an ABC guy. Oh, I don't even want to do the next one. Approval of the RSU 14 budget validation referendum warrant. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Kathy.
Dawn has the warrant and it's in your packet, and please do not shoot the messenger.
All this does is authorizes authorizes the vote. It doesn't
Yes.
authorize, it does not say we endorse, it does not say we endorse the budget.
Right, it's saying it's okay if we vote on it.
Right.
I'm signing the first spot before Rolf always takes my spot.
First in line here,
All right, we'll sign that.
yeah. Move the warrant for the
Budget
validation
validation.
vote.
Second,
All in favor?
what was the increase this year, do we know?
Ours or Wyndham's?
Ours.
Ours was 900 and some
900,000,
thousand.
theirs is 600,000.
No, I thought theirs was 300 and some
Okay.
thousand. I think theirs is 369,000, ours is
All I know
900
is
some.
ours was far exceeded what theirs was.
Yeah, yeah.
And that,
We
and
got
a lot of
hammered.
that comes down to what the state subsidy breakout is.
We definitely got hammered this year. All right, RSU 14 withdrawal update.
We have a meeting on the 28th, which is a workshop meeting. We're inviting anyone that is interested in helping out on there as far as looking at programs, looking at, budgets, looking at things like that, so we can begin to get the overall package pulled together for presenting back to the town before the vote on whether we want to withdraw or not.
Okay, well, Kate told her board, because I guess what they're doing on theirs, and this is new this year, for this, I'm sorry, not this year, this withdrawal season, is they're doing updates, and Kate gave the first update, and she thought it was an executive session to talk about more about the withdrawal agreement. But she just pretty much gave an update as to what we've been doing, same thing, talking, we passed over the withdrawal agreement, and I don't know if they formed a board yet or not, to be honest. I haven't seen, but I think she told the board this is gonna be an executive session instead of a workshop, so.
No, it is a workshop because we have nothing to executively lead on.
I didn't think we did either,
They
but-
have not, for obvious, my suspicion would be that they were waiting to get their full thing pulled together until they had resolved on the superintendent,
Right.
which makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, it does.
And so once that, which as far as looking at their agenda for their next meeting, they should have that resolved at the next meeting, so then they can kind
Go
of
from there.
go onwards from there.
And then that new superintendent, which is being announced, I think, tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Yes, we'll be able to run that part for, which I really still have a problem with the RSU superintendent defending Wyndham. You know that. That just makes no sense to me at all, but that's just the way it goes. All right, public comment. None. Selectmen comment.
I think I've said my piece.
I'm good.
We have to abide by the rules.
Do you have any selectmen comment?
At this point, no.
Should I just shut up?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Town managers report and communications.
Confirming dates for upcoming regular meetings, June 18th, July 9th.
Don't know.
Keep on rolling.
Yeah, please.
Yep.
July 9th?
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Reminder of election schedule, May 22nd is the RSU 14 public budget meeting at Wyndham High School auditorium at 6:30 p.m. June 4th is our annual town meeting here in Raymond at the Jordan Small Middle School gymnasium at 6 p.m. June 11th is the municipal offices and RSU 14 referendum elections at Jordan Small Middle School Gymnasium, voting from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Reminder of upcoming holiday schedule, Monday, May 27th is Memorial Day.
Okay, I want a clarification, please. We have some spots open on budget finance, correct?
Yes.
How many seats are available?
There are 2 seats available in the budget finance and no candidates running from.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was 1 or 2. And the reason why there's only 2 is because we're dropping down from 9 to 7.
Yes.
Because that's what we had agreed before. So I want to make sure everybody understands that too, so. All right, treasurer's warrant.
Move the treasurer's warrant at $198,984.61.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
What?
There's nothing funny about $198,000.
No.
She's laughing because I was the first one.
And you know what? As he's signing it, he's probably thinking, aha, I got that spot.
As long as there's 3 on there, Kathy's happy.
There we go. All right, do you,
Okay.
motion to go into executive
Move to
session?
go into executive session to consider awards of scholarship applications pursuant to MRSA 405, MRSA 140, Section 405, 6F.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor? All right.
Do you want me to go in the back?
Yep. Executive session?
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Have a motion?
Move to award the scholarships as discussed in the executive session?
So moved. Second? Second? Sorry.
All in favor?
Second. Sorry.
All right.
Yep.
Motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Second?
All in favor?